My BFI player choice this week is an adaptation of a 2015 novel by Max Porter, a study of grief written and directed by Dylan Southern and resting heavily upon the shoulders of leading man Benedict Cumberbatch, The Thing with Feathers.
Stab it all.
Hope is the thing with feathers, wrote Emily Dickinson in her celebrated mid-19th century lyric poem of that name, in which she opined that hope perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. In his 1975 collection of essays and one-act plays, Woody Allen slyly inverted Dickinson's title, calling his book Without Feathers. 40 years later, Porter would simply contradict Dickinson, declaring in his title that grief, rather than hope, is the thing with feathers, and offering an account of a writer and father struggling to come to terms with the loss of his wife while immersing himself in the poetry of Ted Hughes. Now, none of this sounds immediately cinematic, particularly when you consider that Porter's source is narrated in equal parts by the father, the children, and a giant talking crow, the latter taking inspiration from Hughes's 1970 book of poems. Yet Southern, who made his name with music documentaries like Blur, No Distance Left to Run, and Shut Up and Play the Hits, the very loud ending of LCD Sound System, clearly likes a challenge. And so we have Benedict Cumberbatch's loss-stricken author and illustrator visited by a monstrous bird who taunts him in the scabrous voice of David Thewlis about being a cliché, a sad dad, a middle-aged, middle-class Guardian-reading English widower who allowed his kingdom to go to ruin. Does Daddy need a cuddle? It's a bold adaptation, and not all of it works. Critical reactions to the film, which premiered at Sundance in January 2025, were unsurprisingly mixed, with many commentators struggling with the fantastical elements which seemed altogether less intrusive on the page. Well, hats off then to Cumberbatch, who worked wonders with an imaginary 7-foot puppet guide in Eric, and here somehow breathes credible life into the character of a bereaved dad haunted by a spectral bird in this admirably ambitious psychodrama.
There are far